Hello and welcome to my video game overview of my video game monthly box number 1 from May 2018. First up, as you can see, is Sonic the Hedgehog for the Sega Genesis. Unfortunately, I couldn't capture it off my real Genesis, so it's being played on an emulation system. I could talk about Sonic for hours, but we'll have to save that for another episode. Let's focus on this one. The first one, released in 1991. So how's the game? Well, very fun. It holds up very well. The music is amazing. Just take a listen. Controls are good. Unfortunately, you don't have the spin dash, and that takes a little getting used to if you've ever played any of the other games in the series. What I didn't remember was how much of a true platformer this was. Just look at this level design. The game is fairly tough too, but spend enough time with it and you'll get through it. I hadn't played this one in a while, and I didn't get very far in my little preview video here. One random fact about Sonic, the red shoes that Sonic wears, they were inspired from Michael Jackson and Santa Claus. Not much more to add here. This is just one of the greatest platformers of all time. And it started this true mascot for Sega. Next up is NBA Jam by Midway, released in 1993. The game is 16-bit multiplayer personified. Even if you're not a sports fan, this is a really fun game. 2-on-2 basketball, very few rules. I mean, look, you can just brutally knock down players. The only real rules are the 24-second violation and goaltending, which is kind of strange because there's not a whole lot of ways to play defense. The dunks in this game are insane. And if you make 3 baskets in a row without the other team scoring, you get on fire, or you get unlimited sprint, and make almost everything you shoot. So many great memories. This game is also full of Easter eggs and different cheat codes. I didn't record any for this video, but look them up. There's a bunch out there. There's one big drawback of this game. The next year, they released NBA Jam Tournament Edition, or NBA Jam TE, which greatly expanded the game. You get more players, a lot more options. So if you have to choose, you have to get one, go and find the Tournament Edition. It's a far greater game, far superior game. Last but not least, this game does let you do 4-player multiplayer if you have the Team Player adapter or multi-tap, whatever they called it for Sega. The last game for the Sega Genesis this month was Mortal Kombat 2, released in 1993. As I said in my unboxing video, I'm not a huge fan of the series. You can see by this gameplay I'm not very good. I'm sure if I spend more time I'd get better, but the gameplay is not really that compelling enough to invest a bunch of time. But the game is a classic. You can use the 6-button controller if you have one. What this game does have is what Mortal Kombat games are known for. Blood, gore, fatalities, baby-talities, and friendships. Okay, so I'm playing this on an emulation system. I have some cheats to pull this up off. To be honest, it's the only way I'm ever going to be beating this game. Even with the cheats on, this really does look like an exploit here. Also, this happened. This game was also made by Midway, so there are a bunch of Easter eggs and hidden characters just like NBA Jam. So is this the best Mortal Kombat of the series? I don't know. What do you consider the best one of the series? Now on to the Nintendo 64 games. First up, we have another game by Midway, Crusin USA from 1996. This is the first in the hugely successful Crusin series. This game was the first car racing game for the Nintendo 64 and was the only car racing game for pretty much the first 9-10 months of the console's life. Yeah, the game is rough around the edges, collision detection not great, but it is fun. It is a party racing game. There's fun to be had here. The series got much better, but it is neat to look back on this original game. Next up, we have Turok 2 Seeds of Evil from 1998, developed by Iguana Entertainment, who were the guys who ported the NBA Jam to consoles. This, as you can see, is a first-person shooter where you get to shoot dinosaurs. I never played this game before and only played the first handful of times back in the day. As I was playing it here, I didn't really like it at first, but as I got the controls set up right, I started to have more fun with it. This game does have a little bit of an interesting history. If you have the RAM expansion, you can choose a high-res mode, even a letterbox mode. The game is also notable for being one of the bigger cartridge sizes, coming in at 32 megabytes. I think the Resident Evil 2 and the Conquer Bad Fur Day had bigger ones, coming in at 64. I might have to sit down and give this game some more time. I really started to enjoy it as I got into it.
Concordance have charged me with the task of guiding you on your quest to stop the Primogen.
Next is Pokemon Snap, released in 1999. This game was popular when it was released, but I feel like it's grown in popularity as the years have gone by. Maybe that's because everyone who grew up playing Pokemon are now adults, and the game has been released on other Nintendo systems with the virtual consoles. They even added the Pokemon Snap homage in Pokemon Sun and Moon, so it's really lasted the test of time. And why not? It's a simple formula. You're on a track taking pictures of Pokemon. It's simple, relaxing, it's enjoyable actually. It's basically an on-rail shooter, but without any violence. Well, outside of the Pokemon picking on each other. Poor Meowth. You're graded on your pictures, but to get the highest score, the Pokemon has to be large and in the middle of the picture. Apparently, Professor Oak hasn't heard of the rule of thirds. Anyways, this game seems fun, and I actually plan on sitting down some in the next couple afternoons and going through this whole game.
Wonderful!
Last for the Nintendo 64 is Force Gemini, released in 1999. This was made by Rare when arguably they were at their peak as a developer. As I said in my unboxing video, I had a VHS from Nintendo Power that previewed this game and Donkey Kong Country 64. And it got me hyped. For the most part, this game lived up to the hype. You get to control 3 different characters, well, 4 if you count Floyd. You get upgrades for them, you unlock several different weapons, and each time you start the game you get this little graphic intro here, and the characters change, showing how much of the equipment and stuff you've unlocked. This game was completed, so this picture you see here is when most things are unlocked. And Ben, sorry, but I deleted your save game. The game was released for the Xbox One on the Rare Replay. Man, the controls don't port over very well. But when I started playing on the Nintendo 64 with the 64 controller, it started to work again for me. I started to play good, if not great. Certain aspects haven't aged very well, but others were far ahead of its time. You might have to muddle your way through some of the quirks, but this is a grand adventure and one of the most ambitious games on the Nintendo 64. Final game here, since I don't want to open up the Dreamcast games, is Starfox Guard for the Wii U. Released in 2016, this game was released 25 years after Sonic the Hedgehog, the first game we talked about. That's what's cool about these boxes, it's just the range of games you can get. As you could probably tell, I was actually really excited about getting this game in the unboxing. I might be the only person to have been really excited about getting this game. There's only a handful of games on the Wii U that are on my most wanted list. This was one of them because I enjoy tower defense type games. Unfortunately, this one's not really a true tower defense. You can place the cameras if you want to, but most of the levels have them set up already. Also, the cameras don't fire by themselves. You have to control each of them and fire each of them separately. So in a strange way, it's more like a reverse on-rail shooter, if that makes any sense. I had some fun trying it out, but it's not a tower defense game in the truest sense. Overall, I like this box. Half the games were Midway acclaim games. I would say if there was a theme, it was multiplayer, with what I believe was 8 games that featured multiplayer. And some of the games, that was like a major feature for them. I plan on doing more videos like this, so if you like this kind of content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll continue making more videos, and we'll see where this channel takes us. Thanks for watching.